All right, traders, history has repeated itself. AMC stock is now officially the new GameStop, like I had stated in yesterday's video. For those of you who bought the dip, if you watch yesterday's video, I posted that video in the pre-market, and I literally said, buy the dip in between the time frames of 9:45 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. And if you look at the low of days on these dips right here, nice low at 9:40 a.m. And then if you look at the low right here, 10:25 a.m. So I literally prepared you guys for the best trading opportunity of a lifetime, guys, because not only did I say to buy the morning dip, but I said to hold overnight as I'm expecting a massive gap up and as I'm expecting AMC stock to $100. And not only did I say that, but I said go far out of the money on call options June 4th. Look at how much they're up. The $73 strike is currently up 2,500%. The low of day on these today were 40 cents. The low of day on these yesterday were 40 cents. You could have bought them yesterday or today towards the dip, easily around 50 cents, 60 cents. They hit $18.72 today. Could have made over a 5,000% return in one single day. That is the beauty of not only going with a far out of the money call option, that is the beauty of knowing when to time your trades, guys. If you don't know how to time your trades and if you're not patient with your process, you'll never see returns that big. So within this video, I'm going to show you, because you don't see me posting these trade ideas all the time. It's very rare I post these trade ideas because they don't happen that often. But when they do happen, you can make thousands of percent, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 extra money. And literally one single day or one single week. That's the potential we're talking about with all these meme stocks running, with all these strong movements, right? So within this video, I'm going to be explaining to you how I was able to accurately predict this and prepare people for literally one of the greatest trading opportunities of the year. I had one guy just contact me via direct message. He literally told me he made $18,000 profit on a $1,000 investment. Can you imagine making that? So yeah, obviously these are extremely risky options, so you're not going all in on these, but even by putting a small percentage in your portfolio, you can make very lucrative returns. And since the returns are so high when they hit, it's going to make up for all the losses. Say you lose 50% on these contracts. Well, when you're right, you're going to be making 10, 20, 30, 40x. So guys, let's get right into it. I'm going to be explaining to you how I was able to accurately predict this. So many people were calling me crazy, calling me insane for saying this was going to run to $100. Well, here we are, and the stock's at $72. It hit $72 today, up over 100%. And I'm looking at the call options. They were up, one was up over 5,000% on the day. These were up 4,000% on the day. And then I'm looking at the puts. So at the end of the day, you can either buy the calls or buy the puts. The puts are currently down 50 to 90%. So yeah, it is what it is. You got to pick a side, whether you want to be bullish or bearish. And in this particular situation, I was extremely bullish and I timed the trade perfectly, right? So one of the main reason why I was able to be so accurate on this trading plan that I'd given you guys, right, was because I based the trade off of history repeating itself. So I want you to think about it like this. You're basing a trade off of something that has already happened. Now, in terms of what has already happened, you're looking at, okay, where did that stock bottom that day? At what time frame did it bottom? How high did it go percentage-wise? Where was the high of day at? How many days did it run? Stuff like that, right? So what I did was I compared AMC stock to GameStop, and it was 100% accurate. Just literally watch the video. You'll be like, how is he so accurate? How is he able to time it so perfectly? It's not luck. It's because the trade was based off of history repeating itself. So what I'm trying to tell you is if you put yourself in a situation where you base your trades off of history being repeated, when you're right, you're going to be so accurate. You'll be more accurate than anybody because the trade was based off of something that had already happened, and you're basing what had already happened in all aspects in terms of where the highs were, where the lows were, the time frames, how high this can go, etc. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be quickly recapping that video and show you guys how I was able to accurately predict this massive gap up. So let's get right into it, guys. So we are currently looking at GameStop on the right-hand side, and we're looking at AMC on the left-hand side. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the daily chart, and then we're going to go more in depth on the intraday chart, right? So what I want to show you is I want to show you this pattern that I had captured, right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking for stocks that kind of follow each other. I'm looking for similar patterns in terms of volume, in terms of movements, right? So GameStop was dying out. When GameStop got so high in price, it was still following AMC for the most part, but it wasn't going up as much. The stock price was just too high. So everybody was moving to something else, and they all ended up moving towards AMC, right? which is a much better stock in my opinion. And also, like I said, the movement literally moved over to AMC, and the volume on AMC as well is much, much higher on a GME, even when GME had its major breakout. You see it has a major breakout right here. The volume is at like 200 mil almost. Now the volume's 700 mil, AMC 760, right? So let's kind of get into this. So let's go over, this is the pattern right here. Let's see. Okay, so right here. See these 3 green days where GameStop isn't doing that much, and then you have this massive green candle, right, with a huge volume spike, right? So you see these 3 candles right here on AMC, it's not doing much. Then you have this massive push up in price, and notice how the candlesticks are identical, right? Strong green candle, lost some gains into the close, forms this pin. Strong green candle, lost some gains into the close, forms this pin. And then look at the volume increase. Compare the price, compare the volume increase right here, literally identical. And then watch what they do next. They have a small little uptrend, starts to pull back a little bit, small little uptrend, starts to pull back a little bit, and then it consolidates. GME consolidates right here for 5 days towards these highs. AMC consolidates 6 days towards these highs. Then watch what happens. We start to see an uptrend, and we start to see the volume really start to pick up. So I was looking at this trend, and I'm seeing, okay, we had 3 days of consolidation towards the highs on AMC right here, and you could see GME, 3 days of, consolidating towards the highs, then it's starting to break out. And then right here, AMC is starting to break out. And then I'm looking at these candlesticks, and I'm saying, this is literally identical. Everything that I just shared with you with all those candles and the volume, very, very, similar, very, very identical pattern. So I'm looking at this, right? And then I'm saying, okay, we have these 3 green soldiers. We have these 3 green bars, uptrending, breaking out. And then we have this big green candle, right? So right here, this is what I wanted to point out. It's the same exact pattern. Just look at this, guys. 3 nice green days, huge green bar, loses some gains. 3 nice green days, huge green bar, loses some gains. And then look what happens the next day. It gaps up, it closes weak. It gaps up, it closes weak. Now, watch what happens. The next day, GME gaps up, has a nice green day, closes strong towards the highs. Look what AMC does. Gaps up, closes strong towards these highs. And then in after hours, GME stock ran, had a massive gap up the next day, and that's the day it absolutely exploded. And then look what happened. AMC did the exact same thing, guys. And look at the volume on these. See how the volume, these 3, volume right here, literally at highs, and then nearly touches highs, and then goes back towards highs, and now we're at all-time highs in the volume. Same thing has occurred, guys. So that is what I was looking at in terms of the pattern, right? So I'm literally telling myself, I'm literally seeing this, I'm saying, so on this day, I made a video before, the video that I posted on AMC. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, so if we see a gap up tomorrow on AMC and the volume is still strong and it retouches towards these highs, this is going to run after hours. It's going to be a great overnight buy and hold. It's going to explode tomorrow. And that's exactly what happened. It literally repeated itself, guys. The volume was there. The movement was there. If you paid any attention to the media and to literally anything on YouTube, to news articles, this is the same exact thing that happened to GameStop. This is no shock to me. It's just you don't see anybody talking about the timing of this trade. You don't see anybody talking about this pattern. They're not talking about the technicals. They're not talking about the patterns. They're not talking about the comparison that AMC had towards GameStop with this particular pattern. And that's something that I don't see anybody doing. And that's something that I have to offer to the table. I'm studying these past trends and I'm putting myself in situations to capitalize off of these trends repeating itself. And when that history does repeat itself, it is so accurate. Look at how accurate this is. Let's go to GME on January 26th. This is something that nobody else does. And this is how I was able to get my timing for that dip buy for you guys as well. That was literally at the lows on the day for June 1st. So let's see. Let's go back to the timing of this. All right, we got to go back. Let's see. All right, look at this. This is the day that I was talking about. Let's see, right here. It was on, January. Okay, let's double check. I want to make sure this is 100% accurate. Okay, so GME, we're going back to that comparison. This day right here, this is the day where I told you guys to dip buys. That was on January 26th, and we are on January, let's go to January 26th. All right, let's see right here. So look at the low of day on GM. Look at the low of day. Watch. We're going to compare it. It's the same pattern, man. People don't pay attention to these patterns. They don't even, when I look at the daily chart, I go back to the actual day and I'll look at the 5-minute chart. Nobody's doing that as well. That's how I'm able to be so accurate, because the trade is based off of history. Obviously, it's not going to work 100% of the time, but as you can tell, when you're basing a trade off of history repeating itself and the volumes here and it's the same opportunity, your reward outweighs the risk by like 50x. It's absolutely unreal what you could do with these options. So if you want to make these very lucrative returns, you have to put yourself in a position where the volume is there, where the volatility is there, where the history is there, where the pattern was there, and all of that was aligned. You can literally tell that everybody switched up from GameStop to AMC and the pattern was there. So I took advantage of that. And that is something that no one was making with that comparison of GME to AMC with that chart pattern. So this is how I was able to get that accurate dip buy. Literally right here. Let's go back to yesterday. Look at this pattern. GME literally did the same thing. It's crazy. So right here, this is it. Look at the low of day on GME. Low of day was literally 10:30 a.m. Look at the low of day on AMC, 10:25 a.m. Look at the chart pattern, literally the same exact thing. And then look what happens. It starts to run up. Let's go. Let's zoom out a little bit. So yeah, very similar. It bottomed there. AMC started to uptrend. GME started to uptrend. Then it had its massive run in after hours. And then you can see right here, it had its massive run in after hours. And then pre-market had its massive, gap up. So yeah, all the similarities, they're there. And it just continued to run throughout that day. And it closed strong towards the highs, just like AMC. So yeah, if you look what happens now, if history were to continue to repeat itself the next day, let's go to the next day on this pattern that I'm talking about. GME had a nice little gap up, and then it got absolutely crushed. So yeah, now is definitely a good time to be locking in profits. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you learned how to identify these patterns. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.